Hi, my name is Tanya, and this is the first of what I hope to be many videos. I am a mother of three, and throughout the years, I've taught myself many different do-it-yourself projects. This channel will probably jump around a little bit, from maybe sewing and crafts to organization and all natural remedies even. When you're a mom or a parent in general, you tend to be a jack of all trades. One of my children is on the autism spectrum, and one of my nephews is hearing impaired. So there will probably be some projects geared towards those two little ones. Today I did want to just start out with something simple. I want to demonstrate how to make the hot cold rice packs that can be microwaved for a few minutes and keep their warmth for a while, or put in the freezer for a couple hours and they stay cold. It's great for muscle aches, and my goodness, I even warmed them up for my office and set them in my lap because, well, most of us who work in offices, it tends to be pretty cold. They're pretty awesome, I think. They make good gifts. I made a few for Christmas a couple years back for a bunch of my coworkers. Pretty much I got the idea because our offices were freezing. And they're pretty nice. I like them. Now the supplies you're gonna need is either one fabric, so you can do it the same on both sides, or you can do two different colored fabrics. You can quilt it however you like. Depends on how experienced you are and how much you care about how it looks. This fabric I picked out, actually my 7-year-old son picked out because he loves cats, as does his big brother. I have used these in the past. They're just the fat quarters. You can get them at Walmart, Joann, pretty much anywhere. Joann's are a little more expensive, but they're on sale all the time. Usually you can get them for about $1 a piece, and this is enough to make probably 1 or 2 rice packs. You're also going to need some rice, just the cheapest rice possible. I wouldn't go for instant, but just rice. Funnel definitely makes it easier to get that rice into the bag after you start to sew it. Scissors. I have specific scissors that I guard with my life that are used for sewing. Paper tends to dull scissors really quick, and then they won't cut your fabric. You also need thread, coordinating colors, depends on what you're wanting to do. I'm going to go ahead and use white for this one since there's a lot of white cats, and my black has mysteriously disappeared. Go figure, 3 kids, things like that happen. So what you'll want to do is, if you're going to do it the same on both sides like I am, you can just kind of fold it over, if I can speak correctly here, to the size that you want. I am going to make this one for my son, the one on the spectrum. The weight in it, he tends to like these, and also I can warm it up and he can snuggle it. Make sure you give some for the thread allowance when you do it. So I'm just going to cut it. You can measure them if you like, if you want them certain sizes. I'm just going to cut a straight line up the fabric here. So as you can see, that is about how wide it's going to be. Now when you sew this, it's kind of like, you'll do this for pillows too. You want to fold it inside out, side to side, picture on the inside, however you want to do that. Fold it on the inside out, and then you will sew around every edge, leaving a little bit of room at the end to undo it, to turn it, from inside out to right side out, and to put your rice on the inside. So I'm going to sew this around while you calmly wait, right? Or impatient, whatever, works for me. I do tend to back up and go forward on the corners. I do that with about anything that I make that has corners, just to help support the weight, especially with the rice and that being in there. All right, that was pretty quick. Okay, so see if you can, sewn all around. I use black on one side, make it easier for demonstration to see. If I wasn't doing it on camera, I would have probably just used white. So then, this is actually, I think, almost the hardest part for any of these projects, is turning it inside out, which really isn't that difficult. I hate having to sew at the end, the corners up, so I tend to make it smaller. You could always make the hole bigger so it's easier here. But I'm not really one to sew by hand unless I have to. And it does get easier there at the end. See, and if you wanted to actually make a pillow, it would be kind of similar there, the look of it. Just sew it around like that. And instead of the rice in here, you would put stuffing. You could also make little bitty bean bags this way. I might do a video at one point making bean bags with different things in them so they feel different. For those on the spectrum or with sensory processing disorder and that, sometimes things like that are nice for them. They can feel the different textures, beads, rice, things like that to put in them, just different things. All right, so we're gonna get the funnel and slip it right there in that opening that I left. The rice. Be careful with this, or you're gonna get rice everywhere, or don't be careful, have a mess. I mean, that's, hey, your prerogative, right? I tend to have enough to clean up around here. And this can take a little while. You can fill it technically as full or as you like, or leave as much room in there depending on how thick you want it to sit. You don't want it to be obviously bulgingly thick because it's nice to put on your knee or something. It's got to bend around it a little. I did make this one a little bigger than I sometimes do, depending on where you put it, where you want it to. Where you want to put it also depends on the shape. If you want to put it around your neck, sometimes the thinner, longer ones are good for that. I like the ones that are a little bit thinner than this, but longer for my knees. I think these make good ones for like your back, small your back. You know, some women who use them on their stomach. Like I said, since this one's just a snuggle, I didn't get any more rice for it because I didn't want it to be overly full for him. So I only filled it about halfway, which isn't too bad. I probably would fill it to about 3/4 the way if I was going to make it as a pain reliever bag. You know, I've also made these really long and thin as door stoppers to put against the door to help keep drafts out, so that's always an option. So when you're here, what you could do is, depending on how much you care what it looks like, you could just run that back through the sewing machine to close that hole up where we put the rice in, or you can get a needle and thread. Probably best to use the same coordinated color that you used on the rest. Here's a pretty complicated part in itself, is threading a needle. Luckily, I had LASIK a couple years back and can actually semi-see it. Of course, they have the threaders that you can get, which make it a lot easier, and I have one somewhere. Probably in one of my boys' collections. He collects just about everything. Alright, so you want to sew on those pieces of cloth, just the inside ones. You don't want to go through the second part. And you will go back and forth to pull those closed. I usually go over it a couple times. It's been my experience, at least, that a lot of times hand sewing is not as strong as machine sewing, obviously. So you want to go back and forth several times. I do it at least twice usually. Sometimes, like if it's a stuffing for a pillow of sorts, I don't worry quite as much. It's harder for stuffing to come through than it is going to be for rice. Grain of rice is small, all that fun stuff. Thing is, with something like this, how pretty it is just how pretty you want it to be. If it's for home use, obviously it doesn't have to be the best. And this is definitely one of those things that, I mean, with everything, you will get better as you go. Yes, you may come over here. Yay. So this is my 7-year-old fresh out of bed. At least he put clothes on since he knows he's going to be on camera. He is going to come meet everyone, bedhead and all. This is my son who I'm making this for.
Of course.
Of course. His name is Hunter.
You might have seen me in my own videos.
He is an aspiring YouTube star of his own. He has some videos that he's been recording with Daddy.
And by myself sometimes. But someday I'm going to add a new video, which is a new game.
What game?
Subnautica, obviously.
He is obviously, as he says it, I can't see you. He is obviously a bit of a gamer. As his daddy. His daddy has a channel too. It's Danger is Sweet. So I'm going to knot it. We're going to cut that string. Unless you like needles with your projects. And nice little warm bag. Alright, I think that's going to finish it up for today. You guys got to meet my middle son. Bedhead and all. Alright, so there you go. Like I said, I would have put a little bit more rice in it probably if I was going to use it as a heat pack. This is more of a sensory pack for the little one that you just met, my middle son there. I imagine him heating this up and probably sleeping with it until it cools off. So thank you guys for joining us. Obviously this is my first video, so thank you if you made it all the way through. And keep following. I'll probably be sporadically putting stuff up. If there's anything you want to know how to make, post it in the comments. Let me know. If I know how to do it, I will make a video. If I do not, I will probably try and figure it out. Once again, thanks for joining us. I'm Tanya, and see you another time.